Homeowners say the groups meant to protect their neighborhood are now threatening to destroy them.
They have forced people to pay thousands and thousands of dollars and have never provided proof that they owe it.
Accusing homeowners associations of abusing their power.
$3,500. We do not waive fees.
Turning the American dream into HOA nightmares.
It's anxiety, it's sleeplessness, it's depression.
When systems fail, people pay the price. We trace the damage, expose the truth, and fight to fix it. This is Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates. Unchecked power inside close-knit communities. Homeowners Association accused of abusing their authority.
That's right. In the next hour, Atlanta News First Investigates is uncovering claims of overreach inside these quiet neighborhoods. We began in a Gwinnett County community where dues have almost tripled in 5 years, creating an HOA nightmare.
I'm very fearful. I'm fearful when I leave my home.
Living in fear of confrontation.
That's my mom. You're not going to harass my mom.
On their own properties.
Do we feel safe in our home? No.
The Gregfeld community in Loganville, east of Atlanta.
I always check my camera around the house.
Installing cameras not because of crime.
Bullied. Harassment,
but concerns with their own HOA president.
And I have video of her going outside to inspect.
Just make sure you don't cross the little pink ribbon right there.
We'll start with Frank Bosa.
She sent me a bill that I owe her $137,000.
You heard that right, $137,768.
We have no idea what this fine is for.
I have no idea. My attorney also said there's no indication of any violation.
But Bosa believes
she is interested in taking over my house.
And with an HOA fine more than $2,000 and a 30-day notice, that's legal in Georgia.
I will fight for my house because it's a dream for me and my family.
Down the street, John Coleman feels the same way.
Our property is at risk.
Coleman and his wife moved in to help her parents who are both battling cancer. After arguments over property lines with the HOA president next door, Coleman filed a police report alleging she kicked him. Police said there wasn't enough evidence, but soon after, they too received a fine. This one, $10,000 with no explanation.
We anticipating getting 5 more of these.
They say the stress is taking its toll.
And as a result of what's been going on, my mom has been hospitalized, as well as my dad here, and even myself.
Homeowners in the neighborhood tell us they began asking for financial ledgers after their dues went up another $500 this year. In 2019, when the homes first sold, dues were just $500. In 2022, when homeowner Melody Downing took over as president, they rose to $745.
Now we are at $1,316.
The homeowners say Downing elected her own board of 2 people and has only ever shared proposed budgets, never receipts.
This is the budget, 2024.
Grounds and maintenance, $18,000.
$18,000 something on the ground maintenance. I was like, what?
The community is only 28 homes along a 0.2-mile-long street. And homeowners say they're responsible for mowing their own lawns, which leaves HOA grounds to the entrance, the mailbox area, and a retention pond.
I feel like there could be something bad behind the scene.
This year, the board hired a management company and legal to collect dues and fines, a total of $17,000. They also added a $200 special assessment to each home. Atlanta News First Investigates spoke with Downing on the phone, but she said she couldn't comment on anything due to pending litigation. This is Downing holding a HOA meeting in the street, explaining residents have 10 days to fix any non-compliance or pay.
The consequence of them is going to be $3,500. We do not waive fees.
On February 1st, neighbors called a special meeting to vote for a new HOA board, but say Downing made them pay the special assessment and a late fee in order to vote.
She said, oh, you paid the $200 special assessment, but you did not pay the late fee for $50.
But under Georgia's new Property Owners Association Act of 2024, homeowners can't be denied the right to vote based on outstanding fines, and a late fee can't be more than 10% of the fine.
We held the election. We got the majority vote. And here we are.
That's Takesha Allen, legally the new HOA president.
We are in the battle of trying to take it over.
Now taking the battle to court, they say homeowners who voted for Allen are receiving more fines.
Me, I receive a notice saying, you have a unicorn in your garden, you should remove that. I was like, I don't have a unicorn.
This is that so-called unicorn, a garden gnome that's been there for 2 years without issue. They and another neighbor also received fines for their cultural and religious decorations.
I had some decoration that I do it differently because I'm from a different side of the planet.
They say fines keep coming for things like garage doors open or dented and faded shutters.
It is unjustified, it is unlawful, and this community is tired of it.
I have worked so hard to achieve what I have. It's not by crooked way, it's not by stealing, it's not by fraud, it's hard work.
Ahead on Uncovered,
It doesn't make any sense for any hardworking individual to go through these things.
a homeowner says her HOA is abusing its power with excessive fees. Atlanta News First investigates your rights. Your homeowners association may have more power over your property than you realize. More than 2 million Georgians live in communities with HOAs, with 370,000 community associations across the U.S.
They're meant to protect property values, but in Georgia, they're not regulated. Laws allow HOAs the power to place liens and even foreclose on homes.
It was very hard. It was hard.
Michelle Bernard remembers the challenges she faced buying her home.
When I came searching in this subdivision, I was advised that I could not afford its subdivision by the realtor.
He was wrong, but 2 decades later, the business owner, wife, and mom says she feels like she's still fighting to own the home.
It doesn't make any sense for any hardworking individual to go through these things.
Michelle lives in Channing Cove, a subdivision of about 40 homes in Conyers.
This is considered our community's common area.
With 3 of these common grass areas and this retention pond, original homeowners agreed to $100 annual HOA dues, what Michelle describes as reasonable. Today, they're $200, but
They have forced people to pay thousands and thousands of dollars and have never provided proof that they owe it.
fines and fees for things like pond maintenance and replacing garage doors without HOA permission. Michelle and at least 2 other homeowners tell Atlanta News First investigates they've asked for receipts and bank statements of where the money's going, but they've never received it.
All they send out is a typed up Excel spreadsheet and want you to believe whatever's on that spreadsheet.
And when they refuse to pay, the fees start to rack up. Court records show the HOA has placed liens on 5 homes for unpaid balances. 2 homeowners tell us they've paid fees just to avoid losing their homes.
I told them, bring the lien, I'm bringing the lawsuit.
Michelle is one of 2 homeowners suing the HOA for the charges that they believe are fraudulent.
They're made up fees.
The community voted for this homeowner to take over as president last year. He wouldn't go on camera for concerns with his day job, but he tells us he resigned when he couldn't get a financial audit.
I'm not going to take over when I don't know what he's done.
That left the previous president, Orton Reynolds, in charge.
I'm with Atlanta News First Investigates. We are currently recording right now. But we've received some concerns about the financials with the Homeowners Association, and we wanted to ask you if you're aware of the concerns in the community.
Don't know anything about my concern about any financial of the community.
Reynolds tells us they send financial documentation out quarterly, referring to these Excel sheets.
They claim the money has possibly been misused.
I would say that's an improper and incorrect statement.
Okay.
And not true.
Would you share the receipts and financials with Atlanta News First?
Receipts about what?
Under Georgia law, homeowners have a right to see all HOA receipts.
Georgia has a lot of HOA issues.
Real estate attorney Patience Casey Sadie deals with hundreds of HOA cases a year. Fines, fees, and liens top the list of issues.
There's no monetary limit. What the law bases on is reasonableness.
In Channing Cove, residents question what's reasonable. just days after we spoke with the president, homeowners received 2 new emailed policies prohibiting them from divulging personal information and making slanderous statements about other property owners. According to the policy, they must write an apology letter within 48 hours of receiving a warning, and if it's against a board member, that's a $1,500 fine.
They're trying to force me to settle the lawsuit.
Michelle's lien was for less than $3,000, but she says the HOA is offering her a $40,000 settlement, denying most of the allegations.
Why would they offer you money?
To make it go away.
But Michelle says a payout from the HOA's insurance isn't accountability.
I need someone to address this because it's affecting our community.
If you're battling with HOA fines or even navigating issues as part of an HOA board, here's what Georgia law does require. Fines and fees must be considered reasonable. You have the right to view financial records, including itemized receipts. And if your HOA has adopted the POA Act, late fees cannot be more than 10% of the fine itself. To learn more about your rights, go to atlantanewsfirst.com/investigates, then click on HOA Nightmares.
One man's HOA battle regarding pressure washing fines could cost him his home.
Everything I had is tied up in this house. All the equity I've got to show for my life.
Atlanta News First Investigates reveals how you can avoid a similar fight. A 77-year-old Kennesaw man fears he may lose his house to his homeowners association after racking up fines for not pressure washing it and leaving a bucket of water outside. Atlanta News First Investigates uncovers how fines from your homeowners association could end up costing you everything.
The scene of the crime is this north-facing side of my house.
It's a scene that haunts George Watson more than 3 years later.
It's anxiety, it's sleeplessness, it's depression.
A slimy wall, a bucket, and a ladder.
I realized, I had been the architect of my own demise by not opening the mail.
The fines and legal fees, he estimates, now exceed $30,000.
It very possibly means that I'll lose the house.
But it's not the local police after Watson. It's his homeowners association.
This was the original newsletter that came the first year we were here.
George moved into the Cedar Lake Townhome subdivision in Kennesaw in 2001.
These were starter homes. I purchased mine out of a divorce. It was all I could afford. Everything I had is tied up in this house. All the equity I've got to show for my life.
He says he's had his share of disagreements with the HOA in the last 20 years, but now he fears he could lose everything.
During COVID, I developed a neurotic response to mail delivery. I literally just don't want to see mail.
George says when he checked the mail in late 2022,
I had a bill saying, you owe the HOA $6,000. Please send us a check. And I but for what?
He says he had no idea he'd violated any HOA rules, and then saw the other letters from July to September. Warnings and then fines to pressure wash the side of his home and to dump water out of a bucket, stating this breeds mosquitoes, and one in November for a ladder on the side of his house.
You cannot see anything on the side of the house.
The fines, $50 a day, equating to more than $1,500 a month with 7% interest for 4 months. George says he borrowed a pressure washer from his neighbor, but didn't get to it until January of 2023. That's when the fines stopped. He says when he tried to negotiate with the board,
there was absolutely no attempt at all to talk to me. And then the knock at the door came.
It was July 2024. The HOA filed a judgment to foreclose on the lien they placed on his home to recover the money he owed, now more than $9,000. Georgia law allows an HOA to place a lien on a home for any amount. They can file to foreclose on the home when that amount exceeds $2,000.
I'm retired and living on a fixed income. Social Security, it amounts to about $20,000 a year. How am I going to pay if I lose the suit?
George says he took out an equity loan on his house to fight for it.
A year of anxiety and worry over the mounting legal costs because it's not over. I think it's added about 5 years of age to me.
Atlanta News First Investigates found George is the only homeowner in the Cedar Lake townhomes that the HOA has taken to court since 2008. But we did speak with several homeowners who said they've also had similar disagreements with the HOA. And when we went to ask the HOA president about George's case, she told us,
"You would need to call our property management company, or our attorneys."
The management company, Tolly Community Management, told us in part that someone choosing not to read their mail is not an association issue. The covenants for the neighborhood state that the notice shall be sent by U.S. mail. For more insight, we sat down with attorney Randy Williams, who represents homeowners as well as HOAs in Metro Atlanta.
There are some times where you just need to tell your client, don't do that. So what are you going to do? You want to take their house? You probably could, but do you think that's the human thing to do to a 70, 80-year-old person?
Instead, he recommends HOAs offer payment plans to people living on fixed incomes and points to a much cheaper solution, often found in the HOA bylaws, called self-help powers, letting the HOA board perform repairs or assist directly.
It would have been cheaper to either knock on his door or move the problem items to the back of his house.
I'm between a rock and a hard place, and there's nothing much I can do about it. This is not the way it's supposed to be for homeowners.
Now, Anastassia, what can homeowners look out for to protect themselves in similar situations?
Well, if you know that your HOA communicates via written mail, you want to check your mail often and try to address any of those warnings right away. So negotiate with your board or your management company as soon as possible, any fines or fees, any discrepancies, before it gets sent to a lawyer, and then you start racking up those fees.
Next on Uncovered.
These HOA boards are full of people that don't know what the hell they're doing.
State leaders are hearing homeowner testimony for new laws aimed at protecting you. And a Metro Atlanta woman claims her HOA is abusing its power. Atlanta News First investigates after she was slapped with huge fines for adding mulch to her yard. A Marietta homeowner says her HOA is selectively enforcing rules. She believes they're targeting her after a dispute with her neighbor.
Atlanta News First investigates, uncovers the tactic behind a homeowner haunted by her HOA and what she feels is a grave abuse of power.
I just want it to stop. It's been a complete nightmare.
A nightmare in the Glen Meadows community of Marietta.
Get this off of my property.
He's on the property line with y'all both share, which is totally legal.
A homeowner says her house is haunted by the HOA.
They're saying you changed the footprint of your flower beds and you did not submit an ACC request for it. The violation is not submitting an ACC request.
So we went digging for the skeletons beneath the mulch.
Would you like to do an interview with us?
No, not without my attorney.
The HOA's attorney telling this homeowner,
be governed accordingly.
The thing is, if something changes, nobody in this neighborhood escapes having to put in the form.
This is Kobe.
Danielle Reyes moved to Georgia from California in July 2024.
I worked very hard to become a homeowner.
She had no idea replacing pine straw with mulch would be a grave mistake.
It's unbelievable that I'm being fined for mulch.
With a daily fine of $25, her current HOA bill is more than $4,000, now with a lien on her home. Danielle believes it all started in a dispute over her cutting limbs from her neighbor's tree leaning over her roof. Her neighbor is the HOA board treasurer.
Little did I realize that the consequences appear to be the retaliatory violations that I've received.
When Danielle replaced the pine straw in April, Ring camera video shows her neighbor outside upset as the HOA vice president instructs her how to properly place the mulch. You can see the treasurer here in Danielle's cell phone video sweeping away remnants of mulch on her side of the brick. Within weeks, Danielle received an HOA violation letter referencing community covenant rules. No exterior construction, addition, or alteration shall be made without written approval from the Architectural Committee, which we'll refer to as the ACC. The fine said she'd been notified twice before and would be charged $25 a day, which she says made no sense. According to the ACC standards, a landscaping plan isn't required to plant existing flower beds with pine straw, bark, or mulch. Other material requires ACC approval.
See here.
Danielle reached out to the management company, Tolly Community Management, and the HOA board, recording this phone call with the vice president in June, where he references the treasurer took action without consulting the board.
There's nowhere where, Janine's actions that she did in the name of the board was going to stand, because I wasn't asking the questions. There was so much stuff done improperly by so many people. So I said, hey, you know what? This all needs to be thrown out.
They threw out those fines, but said a corrected violation for changing her flower bed would be coming.
You don't come on my property and just start doing shit.
It came 1 week after Danielle hired a surveyor to stake her property lines.
So this is on my side of the property line. You didn't get permission for that.
Her neighbor said it was trespassing and called police.
Hold on. I'm sorry. No. I'm going to tell you. It's kind of no debate.
Officers told her the surveyor was within his legal duties.
Please go back inside while they're doing it.
When we tried to get her side of the story,
Are you kidding me?
she wasn't thrilled to meet us.
I'm being harassed now. Further?
We spoke with another homeowner who says she placed mulch in front of her home without approval and never received a violation.
It's a blatant selective enforcement.
Several neighbors agree, telling us they think the HOA selectively enforces rules, something HOA attorneys say is illegal in Georgia. But there's no agency that holds HOAs accountable.
Unfortunately, they have the power of a little government, and there's not much you can do.
This government eyeing a much bigger role. As we found, the HOA president is currently running for U.S. Congress in Chicago, Illinois.
Today, I officially announce my candidacy.
This video posted to YouTube the same week of the police incident and Danielle's new violation.
Become the next United States Congressman from the 2nd District.
There's no higher body in the government to go to and say, hey, by the way, my HOA isn't acting properly. Unless you're going to bring them into court and spend the money to do that and risk paying their attorney's fees on top of it, it can be really tough.
This HOA's attorney, Frank Olson, already charged Danielle almost $700 for one cease and desist letter he sent in September.
Cease further contact with any board member or property manager regarding these matters. Anything else will inure to your immediate and severe financial detriment. Be governed accordingly.
The letter also stating if you do not like the fact that your neighbor sits on the board and has a voice in what happens with your property, perhaps you should have considered that before. The HOA's attorney, management company, and board members did not immediately respond to Atlanta News First Investigates.
I just need this to stop. I really just want to live in peace. There's no reason why I should be threatened with liens over mulch.
You can report your homeowners association issues to Atlanta News First Investigates. Text HOA to the number on your screen to share details about your experience and help us track and report HOA practices in Georgia. A Metro Atlanta woman could not pay her dues, so her homeowners association cleaned out her bank account.
They took all of it.
Atlanta News First Investigates reveals it's a completely legal practice. A Fairburn woman's bank account cleaned out by her homeowners association while she recovered from chemotherapy.
And it was completely legal. Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered her story is just one of many cases.
Ayanna Fuller loves her job.
Oh, I drive a school bus.
It's the one thing that makes her light up like this. Though her doctors say she should be taking it easy.
They give me 3 years to live. Just 3.
Discovering she had a rare blood cancer about 2 years ago.
I'm not gonna stop. I can't stop.
She can't stop.
Bills.
Because the bills don't stop.
But see, at the time when I got counselor,
I drove the school bus and I worked at Dell's at night. When they told me, oh, well, you know, you're supposed to get on disability, don't go to work now. Then I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm keeping my house.
Ayanna bought her home in the Lester Point community of Fairburn, Georgia in 2007.
What did it mean to you to be a homeowner?
Oh my God, you gonna make me cry while you on the achievement. I came from born on the projects. I was just so proud of myself and so that I did it. I finally did it.
After her diagnosis in 2022, Ayanna went on family medical leave at work and made calls to her loan providers and her homeowners association asking for deferments until she was better.
I had extensive chemo that first year causing stage 3, so I couldn't work at all. I started a GoFundMe page because of them, and I had my light bills and stuff like that. I was kind of worried because I knew they could take my house.
Ayanna says with proof of her treatment, the banks deferred her house and car payments, but she says the HOA still required dues at $350 a year, and the fees began stacking up.
So I said, okay, let me pay y'all at least $50 or $100 a month. November, I got real sick again, and I had to go back into the hospital, so I couldn't go back to work.
Ayanna says once she fell behind again,
they took all of it.
She received an alert from her bank. The HOA's lawyer garnished money from her bank account.
When you saw that, you were in bed?
I was in bed sick. I had just came from chemo, matter of fact.
$828.54 and a $125 legal fee, overdrafting her account $855.
It made me feel empty. Like, I'm already going through this.
If this community looks familiar, it's because Atlanta News First Investigates recently reported on several other homeowners' HOA concerns here.
These are all HOA fees.
Residents claim the fines and fees from the hired management company arrive in the mail daily, and when they can't keep up with payments...
They said that I wasn't making payments, but I couldn't. If they wouldn't allow me to. So in December, I think I got a mail saying that they were suing me.
Court documents reveal the HOAs in at least 24 active lawsuits for unpaid dues, with dozens of liens filed on homes in the community. We couldn't find contact information for the HOA, but the management company they hired told us that they enforce the HOA rules, and once a homeowner owes money, they must then pay through the HOA's lawyers. That's the Dunlap Gardner law firm, so we called.
Is there any sort of means for people that are struggling to pay their bills to try to ask for payment plans or anything like that?
Attorney Wes Dunlap declined an on-camera interview, but told me over the phone that they're always willing to negotiate and set up payment plans if the HOA board approves. Court records show Ayanna is one of 10 homeowners in the Lester Point community with financial garnishments from January 2023 to June 2025.
To do a garnishment, you first have to get a judgment from the court. And once you get a judgment, you have an option to garnish either wages or the bank account.
It's a legal option for HOAs to collect debts, but Atlanta real estate attorney Randy Williams says sometimes HOA board members aren't involved enough in the entire process.
I believe that some of the property management companies do make it too robotic. And they're not considering these are people's neighbors, that they have unique situations, and that's a problem.
This is what they're asking for now.
In July, Ayanna received a bill from the management company for nearly $1,400, due August 1st.
I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I have learned in counseling not to overthink things, because I get too mad, I get sick. I did sign the contract, but people can't help stuff that happen in life. We just can't.
The management company and the lawyer could not comment on Ayanna's case.
After we first aired this story, we did have an Atlanta News First viewer reach out and pay off Ayanna's full HOA bill. But we spoke with several other homeowners in this same community who are also facing fines with liens on their homes.
You just get to the point where you just don't want to open these no more, and you're just afraid what you're going to see.
They said that I wasn't making payments, but I couldn't. Like, they wouldn't allow me to.
We uncovered that the management company locks homeowners out of their payment portals when their accounts become past due. The management company, Century Management, told us that they oversee more than 400,000 homeowners in several states. They said an HOA sets the rules and they enforce them. Once an HOA refers a delinquent homeowner to their lawyer, they must pay and correspond through the lawyer. A former homeowners association president speaking out about the boards she says give HOAs a bad name.
I would never take someone's home away and make someone homeless. Never, ever, ever.
Atlanta News First Investigates uncovers what it's like to be on the other side of the fines, fees, and liens. Georgians say their homeowners associations are running rogue, using their unchecked power to issue steep fines, leaving residents with nowhere to turn. A former HOA board member is now explaining what it's like on the other side of the fines, fees, and liens.
I would never take someone's home away and make someone homeless. Never, ever, ever. Never.
Jan Keene is speaking up for those who volunteer to help run their community associations.
It was a very difficult period. It really was.
While working as a travel nurse, Jan served as the HOA president, secretary, and board member at large in the Cedar Lake Townhome subdivision in Kennesaw when it was first built in the early 2000s.
Because of the strict rules of the TOA, the property values have increased by 86%.
She says the HOAs abusing their power are giving the rest a bad rap.
All these Facebook posts for Karens and Darrens and HOA presidents harassing people. Gosh, people, get a life.
You may recognize this pond from a previous Atlanta News First investigation.
The scene of the crime is this north-facing side of my house.
77-year-old George Watson is facing a foreclosure filing on his home from the current HOA board after violation notices went unopened in his mailbox for months. Fines for not pressure washing his home and leaving a bucket of water and a ladder on the side of his house quickly grew to thousands of dollars in past due fees.
It very possibly means that I'll lose the house.
When we went to ask the current HOA president about George's case, she told us,
"You will need to call our property management company, or our attorneys."
The management company, Tolly Community Management, told us in part someone choosing not to read their mail is not an association issue. The covenants for the neighborhood state that the notice shall be sent by U.S. mail. The attorneys did not respond. Jan has nothing to do with the current fines or foreclosure filing, but says
no one is a victim who's educated.
And by educated, she means homeowners should do their research before buying a home.
You need to ask for the last quarter's financials to see if your community is in good standing. Ask for the debt ratio, how many people in the community are not paying their dues, because that is a sign of a very sick community.
In Georgia, sellers and realtors are not legally required to tell a buyer there's an HOA. Real estate attorney Randy Williams suggests checking the community name in court records for any HOA rules you'll have to follow.
You better read the governing documents before you decide to purchase in that community, because you're going to be bound by those documents.
In Cedar Lake, water utilities are included in homeowners' HOA dues. Jan says they never garnished bank accounts or filed foreclosures when she was on the board, but instead they shut off a home's water if the homeowners weren't paying for their share.
There's always a way. Foreclosing on someone's home, I cannot in my heart see that happening.
What can the state of Georgia do to change that?
Legislate clearer. Yeah, as you have mentioned, with the Georgia laws, maybe an ombudsman program of some sort, where people can go to voice concerns.
An ombudsman is essentially an oversight office, but that's not exactly what state lawmakers are currently discussing. The Senate Rules Committee is looking at a specific bill that would require HOAs to register and submit financials with the Secretary of State's office, raise an HOA's ability to file for foreclosure on a home from $2,000 to $4,000 in unpaid dues, not including fines or late fees. And it would add HOA dues to escrow, so they'd be paid with the mortgage to a bank. I spoke with one of the lawmakers leading the charge to regulate associations in Georgia.
These HOA boards are full of people that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Nearly 24 homeowners speaking out at a Senate Rules Committee hearing, begging for help with their, quote, predatory HOAs.
This is going on everywhere. I didn't know that a HOA could be so strong and could just literally tear a home down. A home, a neighborhood, your property. This is our retirement.
The overarching issue Atlanta News First Investigates found is that there are no Georgia laws that govern HOAs and no office to oversee them. The Secretary of State's office says they're seeing an increase in HOA complaints, but have no power to help.
The noise around the issue has grown, and more legislators are aware of it, thanks to your stories.
Senate Rules Committee Chairman Matt Brass hopes to work on a bill he started in the 2025 session, SB 361. In Georgia, an HOA can fine a homeowner for any amount and place a lien on a home for any amount not paid. They can then file to foreclose on the home when the amount exceeds $2,000. This bill would raise that amount to $4,000 and does not allow fines to be included, only yearly dues. It would also require HOAs to register and file financial documents with the Secretary of State's office, allowing the office to oversee and enforce rules.
This one bill is not going to fix everything, but as I stated in committee, this bill is going to be the foundation that we build off of in making sure that we do seek balance in all that we're doing with this law.
The Senate Rules Committee is looking at SB 361, but Senator Donzella James is hoping to revamp bills that she introduced last session, SB 107 and 108.
By the second week of January, we want to make sure we have a real HOA bill that will reform the way everything is working now, and we will be able to save people's homes.
Many of you have reported your HOA issues to Atlanta News First Investigates. Of about 115 Georgia homeowners who responded to our survey, 71 people said they owe fines and fees with an average total amount near $10,000, excluding outliers. Survey respondents reported single fines ranging from $25 to $700. 30% have liens on their homes, with 40% in lawsuits. Incredible reporting, Stassi. I mean, this was a topic that resonated with so many people. It's clearly relatable because you got so many tips. But walk me through the very beginning, because this project started with one story and you just kept digging. How did this get inspired?
So it actually started with a tip from the Loganville community of Gregfield. They reached out to us. They said, we have several homeowners willing to talk. Our team, we have lots of rolling investigations, but HOAs hadn't been touched in a while, and our boss said, you want to pick this up? And I said, okay, I'll go out there. They set up, as you saw there on the lawn, the residents that came out and talked, they talked about the fines, they talked about the collections company and all the things that were going on in the community. You start digging into them, and I just told the story of what was going on there. And the amount of emails and phone calls that we got out of that story, I haven't seen anything like it in my career. We definitely hit a nerve of something going on across the state. And honestly, I was getting emails from out of state. People had caught the video on YouTube or on our website, and they wanted to know more. Could we help them?
You sort of became our resident HOA expert or specialist, as we like to say. Even though these stories are incredibly relatable and people see it and they're like, this is happening to me, and I know so much about my HOA community. Even though people feel like they know a lot about this topic, I don't think they realize how much goes into the reporting on this topic. Pull back the curtain some, because we'd love to do that here. Yeah. How much goes into each investigation for you?
I wonder if you've heard me say, because we sit next to each other in our office, and I wonder if you've heard me say I'm never doing another HOA story. Because every time I pick up one of these and start digging into it, I'm lost for days in these articles, in these documents. I'm asking for all the financials that they've received. What do you have? Send me your bills, your liens. I'm matching dates. Some of these go back to 2000, 1990. Some of them I've been looking into people with records that far back. Then you jump into the lawsuits, and a lot of that stuff you've got to pay for. You've got to go to the courthouse. And so it takes weeks to look into just one single HOA. And you can see in some of these stories the documents that I'll put on the screen. And, you know, people ask me, where'd you get those documents? I was like, oh, geez. I don't even know, because I've got folders that I give each community, and then I label where the documents come from. Are they federal lawsuits or are they local, things like that. And so in one community there, as you saw, we did the story, got a bunch of homeowners in the community. You know, you think you've talked to everybody. No, you haven't, because there are still people who have other stories to share.
You got to have the curiosity to be able to do this type of work. Now, we've seen HOAs go before the legislature before here in Georgia. What makes this time different?
You know, every year in session they have, you know, priority laws, and Senator Donzella James has brought this forth every year as she's heard from people reaching out to her, and it's just never gained enough attention or been prioritized, you know, with the influential leaders in the House and the Senate. And so she continues to bring it forward, but now she's got a couple others, like Senator Matt Brass, who is looking at this as well. And the two of them have said they've heard from hundreds of their constituents who are asking for change. So I think people are starting to speak up to their lawmakers, and this could be the year that they're heard.
More voices than ever before. Excellent reporting. Thanks so much, Stassi. You can listen to all of our extended conversations on these stories right now on our podcast, Behind the Investigation. Just search Atlanta News First on your favorite podcast platform. You're watching Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates, a weekly hour-long investigative show with new episodes launching every Sunday at 7.